If you're going for fall 2025, this is the golden video for you. Save it, take notes, do whatever, but this is years of research that I'm giving you for free in this video. Every single thing you need to do from now to the time you get admissions and even visa is mapped out in this video, the entire timeline. If you follow this, there's about zero chances that you're going to get into any trouble later on. All right, so to start, you go on to YMGrad.com. Make sure to create an account. It's utterly helpful for studying overseas. You can go into the articles and search for timeline. And once you do that, you will find two timelines over here, spring 25 and fall 25. Go into the fall 25 timeline. Now, there's a lot here that we've discussed in detail, but we're not going to get into that. The most important part of this endeavor essentially is this image, and I have it open for you right over here. So we're going to be discussing this exact timeline. This is the agenda for today's video. Guys, my name is Yash. I make a lot of videos about studying and living overseas, moving overseas, and if that's your gig, make sure to subscribe to the channel and follow me on Instagram. Let's begin. So, study abroad application timeline fall 2025. The first thing you see over here is that you start preparing for your tests. Somewhere around February, you can even start in April, May, June. The earlier the better, to be very honest with you. Now, what you do is you start preparing for the tests. Remember, I've only written GRE TOEFL over here, usually because it's a combination of two tests. However, this could be GRE or IELTS. This could be GMAT or IELTS. This could be something else as well. Depends on essentially where you're going, which country you're targeting, what you're doing essentially, right? So make sure that you check the admission requirements for your universities and change these accordingly. For instance, if you're going to the US, this combination is very good, GRE or TOEFL, right? GRE and TOEFL. GRE is a test of your math and English, and TOEFL is only for English. All right. Now, if you're going outside of the US, you want to take IELTS, for instance. Anyway, let's not waste our time on that. Feb to June, you start your preparation, and let's go on this one by one, right? So let's not go into the hodgepodge. Let's see, okay, when do we have to take these tests then? These tests should be taken max, and this is max, by September to October. You should be done with these tests by that point in time. All right. So take the tests and shortlist universities. This has to be done by that time. So tests have to be done. Absolutely. Now, when I say September to October, it doesn't mean September to October. Basically, you have to take them. You can even take them in July if you're ready. You can take them in June if you're ready. You can take them in advance. However, do not take them in November, December, Jan. I mean, you could do that, but that means you're already getting late. All right? So you're running against time at that point. That's not what we want to do. We're planning in advance. Now, in parallel, you're going to be doing a lot more things than just preparing for these tests. I know some of you may be in school, in college, I mean. Some of you may be working jobs, and there's a lot of hectic pressure that you may have at that point in time. But this comes first. If you want to go into the best university possible, this comes first. So, Feb to June, we're doing continual profile improvement guidance as well. That's something that we would do if you're working with us personally. We'll compare your profile to the top profiles who have gotten into your dream school, and then we'll see what's missing on your profile, what can be improved, right? Some things can be changed and some things cannot be changed, right? So we'll compensate for things right wherever possible, and then we'll improve your profile. This is something you can also do by yourself, by the way. If you work with me, I'll be doing it for you. If you don't work with me, do it for yourself, but do it. Improve your profile in advance. It takes months, not days, because if it took days, everyone would be able to do it. The next thing, your documents such as your SOPs, recommendation letters should be prepared in advance. That means between July to September, you should already be working on these, and by September, you should have finalized these. There should not be a question of, okay, after taking these tests and after shortlisting universities, I'll now write my SOP. You are already getting late at that point in time. That's the point where you should be reviewing it, revising it, changing it as per the university requirements, not writing down your first draft. All right? And trust me, coming from this background, I know that if you give me an SOP to write, it will take me probably 5-6 hours. Ivy League graduates, probably 3 hours, because they write a lot of them. It'll take probably 2 months. because you're doing it for the first time, my friend. And I was in that position as well once. You write, you throw it away. You write, you cut it off, you strike it off. Just don't use online tools like ChatGPT. Don't use pre-written SOPs that previously people have written, right? Don't use these. Write your heart out, my friend, because admissions committees are not stupid. All right, so document preparation is very important. You start with that. By September you should be done with that as well. Now if you're working with us, of course we have unlimited edits. We have, of course, after that, applications coming up. Now this is the most important part. You're done with your tests, you're done with your SOPs, recommendation letters, right? Everything's ready. Shortlist the universities by October max. Very important. Find out where you are eligible to go into and where you really like the program, where you want to go to as well. These two things make good combination, and put the shortlist in a way that it's looking like something like this. Let me just show you here in the shortlisting service. So something like this: ambitious, moderate, safe. It should not be essentially just ambitious universities or just safe universities. How do you know which university is ambitious or moderate or safe? If you do not know that, you can take a look at our Rate My Chances tool over here, I think, yeah. And this kind of rates what kind of university it is for your profile. For instance, Harvard for me is ambitious because it's 67%, and it'll tell me that it's actually out of league, not even just ambitious. All right, so that's something that you want to look into. All right, the next thing, guys, is that when you go ahead with the application submissions, when you go ahead with the applications, you want to send them in as early as possible. Applications will continue till even Feb or March for some universities. Those are not going to be the top universities though. Mind you, top universities have their deadlines in October, November, December. And if you're going for an MBA by any chance, some of them even have their deadlines in September, October for round 1. So do not delay it. All right, October max to max. You should be ready with everything, right? Send in your applications. If you're going for engineering, healthcare, that's fine. Then, send in by November, early December. But send them in because some deadlines are on 1st December, 15th December, right? Next, what happens after the application submission is you're done with everything. Now you have to patiently wait. And when you do that, around February to March, you'll start hearing about the admits that you've been receiving. February to March is going to be the happiest and the worst time of your life because you will also get some rejects, you will get some admits. So you'll be disappointed sometimes, you'll be happy sometimes, right? So that's what's going to be happening over here. If you have done your applications right, you'll be more happier than you'll be disappointed. All right. Then after that, final thing over here, you have to get the I-20 form. You prove the funds to the university that yes, I can afford this program. And you apply for the F1 student visa. All right. And this in itself is a process that has deterred so many people from going to the US. Essentially, if you're going to the US, for instance, for Canada it's different, for UK it's tier 4, depends on where essentially you're going, but you apply for the visa. For instance, for this one I have taken the reference of the US. All right, now apply for the visa in advance because this is something that people don't do a lot of times, and then they end up deferring the program to spring, and spring already has less visas, so they sometimes defer one more time to fall, and 1 year is wasted before they know it, right? So we don't want to do that. What we want to do is we want to make sure that we are ahead of the game. So apply already in May, June, July, max to max. Even start earlier if you can. If you get the I-20 earlier, apply in April, right? But yes, start early, get your visa early, and then apply early as well. You'll get better housing, you'll get better on-campus jobs that people will not have access to later on when they come a little bit later. All right, you're allowed to fly 30 days in advance. Okay, now that's all for this video. Mostly pre-departure formalities, everything. That's something that we can cover sometime else, but this is your fall 2025 timeline. If you like this video, make sure you subscribe to the channel, share it with the people who need to know, and you can WhatsApp me if you need my help with your applications. Thank you so much. Goodbye and take care.